let's try this. Hi there, and welcome to the first ever Rustic Knits Podcast, episode number 1, obviously. You may know me as Sanni Pauliina of Sannila Designs, or you may not know me at all, which is fine as well. In any case, welcome. I'm a full-time knitwear designer from Finland, from a small town in Finland. A little bit of background on me, just in case we haven't met before. I graduated with a BA in design late last year, and I'm specialized in fashion and jewelry design. And while I am a full-time knitwear designer at the moment, I'm really looking forward to one day expanding my business and having a tiny little jewelry workshop of my own. But at the moment, it's all knitting here. This is the first episode. I think I'll go a bit more into the detail of why I decided to do this at the end of the episode, because I know not everyone might be interested in that. But just in case you are, I'm gonna do a little ramble about that at the end. Since I haven't done this before, I don't really have a frame of what FOs to show you, or finished objects to show you, but I've decided to narrow it down, which isn't very narrow at all, to what I've knit this summer. It's the 20th of August right now, so it is definitely turning into autumn here in Finland, and I'm loving it. I'm absolutely loving it. I'm not a summer person at all. So I thought we'd take a look at everything that I've knitted. Well, actually not everything, because there is quite a bunch of secret deadline knits that I have been working on this summer. But I'll show you everything that I can. There is still quite a few projects, so this might be a long one. I'll try not to ramble on for too long, but I have a bad habit of going on all sorts of tangents, so I'm sorry in advance if this is very rambly. I'll try to rein myself in. But let's start with what I'm wearing. If I look past you, don't mind, I have a mirror set up so that I can see what I'm showing you. I'm wearing my newest release. This is called Remember Me cardigan. It's knit in fingering weight non-superwash wool. This one's from Pirtin Kehräämö. It's the woolen spun fingering weight yarn. From some widely available options, Tukuwool fingering would be pretty much an exact match for this. This is a grandpa style cardigan, as you can see, with a low v-neck. I have buttons here in the bottom. I can try to show you a bit. It has these cables running down the front. An optional shawl collar. You can also work this with a regular narrow bottom band. I opted for the shawl collar because why not? It's really like comfy, has quite a bit of ease in both the body and sleeves, and it's worked with a European shoulder construction. So you cast on stitches for the back of the neck, and then I'm sorry about the creaky chair. Cast on stitches for the back of the neck, and then work increases along the sides until you've got the full width of the back, and then you pick up stitches for the fronts, and there's no short row shaping needed this way. Technically, for this construction you should work some decreases along the side of the the front to shape the armhole correctly. This one doesn't have those because they just didn't fit with the cable placement, and I didn't want to faff with that too much, but I really don't think it matters in this design. You can't really tell that there's a angle there that technically shouldn't be there. So yeah, this is called Remember Me, and it is available on Ravelry already. And here we have a lovely little here in Finland we say a donkey's bridge, where we like when one thing is related to the next thing. So the donkey has a bridge to walk over to get to the other thing, you know? I don't know if there's an English equivalent for that. I can't think of one right now. In any case, I have the same pattern also, well, it's not the same pattern, this one's called Rest Calm, but it is the same design in Aran weight yarn. And this is the first of the summer knits. My summer knits are Aran weight cardigans apparently. I'm trying to go in chronological order. This is the first thing that I have finished this summer that I can show you. So, the same exact thing, but in Aran weight yarn. This is West Yorkshire Spinners Jacobs Fleece Aran Jacobs, anyway. And yeah, you can see a bit better here. Both the patterns come with two options for the cable. So there is this one that's on the Rest Calm, and then this one that's on Remember Me, and they are both included in both patterns. Both also come with either the shawl collar or a regular narrow button band, which would look like the part with the buttons on for the whole way. And here you can also, I can more easily show you the back with the European shoulder construction. These are fairly simple to work. You have to pay a bit of attention because most of the cardigan is in moss stitch or double seed stitch, whatever you want to call it. So you need to pay a bit of attention when starting the front because the moss stitch is growing out from nothing. So you need to establish that pattern and keep track of your increases. But other than that, it's pretty simple. The pattern for this one is, depending on when I get this out, is either just come to testing or it is in testing. The pattern is basically ready to go. I need to translate it into Finnish and then I can put it into test knitting. I always look for my testers on my Ravelry group called Sannila Designs, and I have a tester earburn list there if you want to be notified when I post test calls. But yeah, this was my summer trip knit. This year we went on a little road trip that was supposed to end at Collie National Park, but our car died on us 40 kilometers short, so we headed back home a bit early. We are planning on going again, trying again this autumn, so maybe I'll get some more photos of this there. But yeah, this is the first FO of the summer. These are all, well, probably all upcoming patterns, so I'm not gonna go like too much into depth of with every single one, because I will be talking about them later at some point as well. But I'll give you the basic rundown of what I'll be working on. And also this podcast will mostly consist of my own designs, because that's basically all I need. I don't want this to sound like a giant advert, because I want to share, because I actually have so much to say about each thing I knit, and I'm looking over because they are in a pile right there. Yeah, I think a podcast is a place to do it, but I do understand it might be a bit, come across a bit annoying. It might not be for everyone, but I hope someone would find this interesting. Okay, I also have my computer here so that I can check what I've finished and in which order. Next up is a super basic beanie. I actually started this at Jyväskylä Knit Fest this summer. I was working on that Aran cardigan, and I was there for 2 days, and I really badly miscalculated how much I would get knit, and I ran out of yarn on day 2. So I actually had to go and buy myself a project. And Tukuwool had come out with this new Nordic Resilk yarn for right at the time of the Knit Festival. And I had an idea for a basic beanie that I had wanted to knit for a long time. And then I was forced to cast on something new, and I thought this beanie would be a perfect, very simple project. So I went ahead and I bought some skeins of Tukuwool Resilk, which this is, wait a second, Tukuwool Nordic Resilk has 50% Finnish wool, 50% recycled silk. I would have remembered. 135 meters per 50 grams. That would be 147 yards per 50 grams, so this is a DK weight. I'm also planning on getting this test knitted soon-ish, but I have quite a few patterns already lined up for this fall, so I'm not quite sure when it's gonna come out. Basically, it's just a tube of stockinette. There's not a single purl stitch in this. I also have to cut my end. But you have a knit stitch brim and a purl stitch body for the hat. And then it has these it's actually, if I'm seeing in the mirror correctly, it's showing up pretty well. It has these interesting decreases. If I'm not changing my mind, this beanie is called Ephemeral. And I'll try and get it out to testing soon. It was a really quick and simple knit. Then we have a couple of secret things, and then this is really fun. I have a scarf. I received yarn from Lankapuoti Tiukula, their Neulojan Sohvilla, which is the yarn brand they have. Neulojan Sohvilla Lämpö worsted, so this is a worsted red yarn. I don't know if you can see, first half of the shawl has these eyelet increases. Then we have a good bunch of mosaic knitting, and then it's again decreased into a point with broken rib. Let's see if I can get this on in a pretty way. Sorry, I keep looking past you to see what you are seeing. this is basically how it would look like on. This is a really fun pattern. It's in testing right now. I'm planning on releasing this one in September, so not too long. It takes exactly one skein of each color of the Aran yarn. And I've written the pattern in a way that you can use a precision scale to make sure that to get the most out of your yarn without running out. But yeah, this one's called Just a Dreamer because it was on the blocking mats when news broke of Ozzy Osbourne's death, and I name all my patterns after music nowadays. Two of my oldest ones aren't, but the rest of them are named after songs or lyrics or something related to that, because I was originally supposed to study music and then I ran out of courage or decided that I wasn't actually passionate about it enough to make it into a career. But yeah, music is a huge part of my life and I'm a total metalhead, and Ozzy's death really hit me pretty hard, way harder than I ever expected, because as you know, he was one of the people who founded the whole genre of heavy metal. It's crazy to me that we live in a time where we are actually alive at the same time as the people that have created whole music genres that are like our life now. But yeah, I wanted to do a tiny little tribute in a way of naming this pattern Just a Dreamer. But yeah, there's not much more to say about it right now. It's again coming soon-ish, in a month or so. I need to get this one photographed. We don't have proper photos of this yet. Then next up is this one. I've made quite a few beanies this summer, which my family would probably argue is ridiculous because I don't wear beanies that often. But they are fun to make. And after the big deadline knits, I was really craving something super simple and quick and like quick satisfaction projects, so beanies hit that spot. This is one of my first designs. This is actually the one that I would consider the proper beginning, because I had published 2 patterns previous to this, but this one was the first of the bunch that I decided that I was gonna give this a proper go and try and publish a pattern a month for that year, and I've kept it up ever since. So yeah, this is kind of what I consider the beginning, and this is also the first one that's actually named after music. This is called Stargazer, and the original one, I actually don't even know, it's probably at the storage right now. But the original one was knit in a red wool yarn, and it was my Christmas beanie that year. It's a really pretty red, but after that I really established my brand, which, if you know me, it's blacks and greys and greens and not red. So it didn't really fit, and the photos aren't that great. So I wanted to remake it in a more me color, and this is actually unfortunately discontinued. This is Suoma Single DK by Kässäkerho Pom Pom, and that yarn shop was closed down a couple of years ago at this point. But yeah, it's a really pretty dyed grey. It's really not showing up on camera, but it has hues of like purples and maybe a bit of bluish. But it's leaning really like purple to me. It's definitely grey, but it has other hues in it. So yeah, we got this photographed again, and I'm planning on updating the Stargazer pattern to my current layout and have these new photos for it. I really like this, and I really like the big pom-pom on top. Then we have another beanie. This isn't for me. This too needs to have the ends cut. I woven them in, but they are not cut yet. This, I don't know if this is showing up too great. It has broken rib body and like regular 2x2 rib brim. This is my older pattern. So this one's published already. It's called Intrinsic. I have knit a bunch of this. This is number 7. I don't re-knit things that often. I say after I've just shown a second Stargazer pattern and a beanie that I've knit 7 times. But I don't usually re-knit things unless they are super basic. And this is the basic, like this is the vanilla beanie pattern for me. It started from the top, so it's cast on here, then you increase in 3 spots, so you get these lines going through it, and then you just work to the length you desire. And for some reason my fiance desired a hat that didn't cover his ears, which I do not understand, but he doesn't ask for knits that often, so when he does, I'll do it. This is also knit in that Tukuwool Nordic Resilk yarn. Works perfectly for this one as well. This is the intrinsic pattern comes with 2 fingering weight sizes, so I think I've named them like adult or deemed them adult and child, maybe. Let me check. So it's basically size 1 is a finger weight child size, size 2 is finger weight adult, and size 3 is DK weight adult. It has both weights in the same pattern. With the 3 increase points you are kind of limited with the final stitch count, so that's why there's not a ton of sizes. They go in quite big increments. But yeah, it works fairly well, and because there's so much rib there, kind of fits a lot of heads even with the few sizes. Oh, I was looking at the project like, what is that? But I finally finished. I don't know if you can see this at all because it's just black stockinette. But I finally finished. I started this super basic raglan this spring when I was moving. I moved from my from the city where I studied in back to my hometown, basically. Yeah, it was quite a process. It was over 200 kilometers, so you kind of had to be on top of everything, do it all in one chunk. And yeah, I was in need of something super basic to knit on, and I cast on this. I am thinking of maybe making this into a pattern. There are a lot of basic raglan patterns, so you might think that it's not worth doing anymore, but this has some kind of cool features. I have done compound raglans on this, So I don't know if you can see at all, but it has a slight like S curve going on the raglan. I always grade my sweater patterns with 3 sleeve lengths, which might sound weird, but I do it because I apparently have really long, weird orangutan arms, and I always needed to lengthen the arms when I was working from other people's patterns. So when I started designing my own, I decided to take that bit of extra time and grade my sleeves into 3 lengths. So there's the regular length by most size charts standards, and then there's one shorter, slightly shorter option and one longer option, and I always make the longest one. So yeah, there's that, and I've made this one with the same basic pattern, although this one doesn't have the compound raglans yet. This has a regular straight-ish raglan. I made this one in 2022, and at that time I didn't really have the confidence of writing a sweater pattern yet. So I knew how to calculate it, but I didn't know how to write it properly. So it kind of just sat there on the back burner. And this one is a longer A-line body, and this one is a slightly cropped straight body. So I thought I would write up a basic pattern for a compound raglan with the 3 sleeve lengths and 2 body options, maybe, if anyone's interested. It has a V-neck and basic 2x2 rib edges. This one is knit in Host Garn Super Soft, and the A-line version is knit in Retrosaria Mondin. And this is like the best freaking sweater yarn ever, because as I said, this is 3 years old at this point. I've gone hiking in this, and there's basically no pilling anywhere. It held up crazy good. This has been my basic go-to black sweater, because you need one of those, but it is a longer body and A-lined, and now I tend to wear looser fitting bottoms, so I thought I needed a shorter and straight bodied one. I have no clue how to photograph these in any sort of interesting way, because they are just black stockinette sweaters. And now some would say that maybe you shouldn't make your samples in black, but that's what I wear, and I don't really see the point in making samples that don't get worn at all. And I needed a sweater. I could have needed for someone else, but I actually needed one. Then it's, I think, the last finished object that we are going to talk about today. And even this isn't technically like fully finished yet. It's a lace shawl. I don't know if you can, well, I think you can see a bit of the lace pattern there. It has this simple, slightly reminiscent of cables lace, and then it's broken up with these I don't know if you can see that, but here we have just an eyelet row and a few rows of garter separated by stockinette, and every other one is just garter and stockinette without the eyelets. I say this is not quite finished because the thought was to do a loop that would be like seamed in one corner, and then you can loop it around, sort of cowl style, but a shawl. But I ended up doing a few buttonholes here. I don't know if you can see at all, but it has 3 buttonholes here at the edge. So I just need to attach buttons to the other corner, and then we'll see if my plan works. I'm a big fan of buttons in anything that you need to pull over your head, because I mostly wear my hair like this. So let's see, like with headbands, this is my Homeland headband, this way. When you have buttons, you don't need to pull it over your updo and mess it up. You can just open them and loop it around, so your hair is protected. And I had the same sort of idea with the shawl, that you would be able to loop it around without messing up your hair. But yeah, I haven't gotten the pattern written for this one yet. It's next on my list. It shouldn't be too tricky, because it is basically a rectangle with a few different stitch patterns. It should be fairly quick. But yeah, once I get that done, I can get it into testing and see when I could get this published. I'm thinking still this year. Yeah, I probably forgot to say I'm planning on publishing the Rest Calm cardigan, the Aran wet version of this, in November. Yeah. So this might be December, maybe. We'll see. My deadlines have gotten away from me a bit with all the other deadline things for like other companies that I had to do this summer. It's really fun to work on those things, but and get included. I can't tell too much about them yet, but they are going to be published by someone else. Is basically what I'm trying to say. But that means that my own like regularly scheduled patterns are taking a bit of a hit. Yeah, I'm gonna, if I can figure this out, I'm gonna try to link everything below so that you can take a look. I'll write down the yarns and stuff that you might want to know. So yeah, that's all the finished object from this summer. A pretty good haul, I think. Next, let's talk about what's on my needles. Now, a fair warning, I'm a very monogamous knitter, usually, which means that I have one or maybe two, like one big and one small project on the needles at the same time, which is what I have now. But for the sake of this podcast, that means that probably if I film again in a month's time, there will be some finished object that you never seen before. That's just how my brain works. So yeah, I won't have like whips galore, but I do have a couple of fun things. I'm already very much in the autumn mood when it comes to my knitting projects. So I'm working on, I don't know how well I'm gonna be able to show this, but this is my main project at the moment. It's not really even a cardigan, it's basically a coat knit with Instax Plötulopi, so unspun. I'm holding it double, and this is what I have left of my first 2 plates, and I'm 5 centimeters past joining the underarms. This thing is going to be huge. The idea behind this is that I want something to layer on top of like other knits to go outside. So I'm making this with enough ease to wear a second sweater underneath. The body itself isn't looking that huge, and for now it looks like I really created it pretty cleverly. The shoulders don't look oversized at all, but the body is gonna be fairly big, and the sleeves are gonna have a lot of ease, so the sleeve opening at the moment is looking huge. It's gonna snug down a bit when I actually pick up the sleeves, and that's what I'm gonna do once I finish these plates. I'm gonna do the sleeves before continuing on the body, just to see that they work like how I wanted them to. This one too has the European shoulder construction, and for this one I actually did do the decreases like you are supposed to. The front continues in the same line as the back, and then you get these nice straight edges. If you don't do the decreases, the front is gonna go a bit like this. With this one it really didn't matter. I don't think you can even tell. But on this one it might have looked a bit weird. And it has a 1x1 ribbed button band, and it's knit at the same time as the rest of this cardi, because first of all it would have been a nightmare picking up all those stitches, because I'm planning on making this like calf length if I have enough yarn. I think I do, because this is the first 2 plates and I have 10. So yeah, I'm planning on making this actually really long, and it's going to be a bit A-lined as well. Picking up the button bands would have been a nightmare, and also I'm going to place the buttons, at least for my version. You can of course do what you want, but mine are going to be based from from the tip of the V-neck to like my hips, and then the rest is just going to be open. So it was easier to place them from the top down while actually knitting it. So yeah, this is knit on 6mm needles, I believe. Yeah. So yeah, I have a bunch more to go on this. So this you might actually see again, maybe, possibly. I haven't worked with Plötsolobi before. I have knit a finish unspun previously, and this one holds up better than that. I have accidentally broken this once when I was trying to detangle it from my rocking chair. So it holds up really well while working with it. But it's a lot of stockinette on fairly thick needles. 6mm is like US 10. Yeah, US 10. And my hands aren't super happy with thick needles, which is why I have a second project going with this one, so that I can give my hands a bit of a break, which I'll chat a bit more about too, but turns out wasn't that great of a break. But anyway, it's just gonna be a lot of fairly boring stockinette from now on, but the finished thing is gonna be magnificent. I am making a pattern. I don't know if anyone is ever gonna want to knit this other than myself, because it is a bit of a ridiculous large coat. but I am making it into a pattern. You could obviously shorten it. I think I'm gonna, once I get it to be like hip length, I'm gonna weigh it and take some whip photos showing like approximately how it would look in that length as well, so that you can modify it if you want to. If for some reason you don't want a calf length one, which why wouldn't you? But yeah, this pattern will be called probably In the Mire. Yeah. Then, because that is so hard on my hands, well, it's not too bad, but it does get a bit heavy. So I cast on a sock, which I'm now in the middle of the needle of, so I'm gonna just finish this, but I wanted to try, I'm in need of like really warm socks, because I spend a lot of time outside in the fall and early winter, outside and not moving much, so I needed some super warm socks, and I decided to give silk mohair a try in a sock. This is pairing a strand of regular finger weight wool with no reinforcement, just regular wool, with a strand of Sandnes Garn tune silk mohair, and I'm making some pretty basic socks. I'm actually knitting these inside out because these are going to be worn in shoes, so I want them to be like really comfortable, even though I'm not that bothered. I just thought it would be really nice to have some super comfy socks with the knit side of the stockinette against your foot, and it gives them a bit of interest. But yeah, so this is basically what I've got. It has a heel flap and gusset construction, good old, but I did a bit of a different stitch pattern on the heel, and the thing is that I knit my socks really tightly, like it's just my default setting, and with them being a wool yarn held double with silk mohair, this fabric is turning out really dense, so this isn't that like light on the hands either. Actually, it's better now that I've got the heel and gusset done, because for some reason they are just too much work. The plain stockinette is better. So yeah, I'm working these inside out, so I'm just knitting, but the purl side will be showing once I'm done. You may have noticed that these look a bit weird at the moment, and that is because, let me see, I have started them with a provisional cast on. I did that because I was worried about running out of the mohair. I'm doing it because I really don't enjoy toe-up socks. I find getting the length of the foot right really difficult. I've managed to do it maybe twice to get them like actually correct. So I would rather do a provisional cast on, work the foot like from cuff to toe, and then add the actual cuff. Either pick up stitches from here and knit it up, or I have done in the past that I've done this and then knit the cuff separately and then Kitchener stitch them together. which might sound like a faff, and it kinda is, but that's how I roll. But yeah, I'm not planning on making this into a pattern. I don't think. Also, one thing I struggle with sometimes when making sock patterns, and especially if I would write this up, is that no one is gonna knit them as tight as I am. Like, I'm known for making socks that stand up on their own. Like, these are ridiculously tight, or the not tight, the fabric is dense. So I don't know how I would. No one else is gonna want to knit them at this gauge. So yeah, I don't think this will be a pattern, but they will be super cozy socks for me. And I'm kind of moving away from superwash sock yarns. If you know my designs and my sort of design philosophy, you know that I don't use superwash yarns for anything other than socks, just because I personally don't like using like plastic in my clothes. I much prefer natural wools. That's just me. I don't. If you enjoy superwash yarns, find them easier. That's all fine. But yeah, I personally like natural, non-superwash treated wools. And once I tried out socks with no nylon or no superwash treatment, I realized that they are so comfy. Like, you wouldn't think that the tiny amount of, well, it's not a tiny amount. Most sock yarns have 25% nylon, which is a fourth of the yarn. So it's not that tiny, but it's still way less than it has wool. You're gonna think it affects them that much, but it does. And there are some really nice plastic-free sock yarns on the market right now. Still not a ton, and I have found a few that really hold up pretty well, but also some do get holes really quickly. So yeah, I'm on an endless journey to find the perfect plastic-free sock yarn, is what I'm trying to get at. And mohair and silk are both really durable fibers, and I have seen other people do this, that they hold a mohair silk with wool yarn to reinforce their socks. And I want to try it. I want to see how they hold up. Also, mohair is really warm, so these should be nice and cozy in the colder months. I do live in Finland, so it can be really cold here. It might not be, not every winter, but when it is cold, it is cold. So yeah, woolens are very much needed here. But yeah, that's everything I have on my needles. I have no clue how long I've been chatting already. But I thought I'd show one more like fall plan thing, which isn't that far out. I have this beanie here. This is called Into the Fog. It's my own design again, and I'm actually gonna pull up the details because I don't remember anymore, because I have knit this in December. In last December I was on a bit of a beanie kick as well, and I knit and designed 3 beanies that I was supposed to publish in January, February and March. This is the March pattern, or was supposed to be. But with the move and everything else, I had my first mystery shawl launch in April. And there wasn't a place for this. Or I could have published this, but it wouldn't have had its moment. It would have felt really rushed. So I decided to postpone it. And I wasn't sure when I would want to publish it. Like, it felt a bit weird publishing a beanie pattern in the summer. So now I've decided that this is gonna come out September 1st to welcome the official autumn, because it's my time of the year. I think you can see, I'm again looking at the mirror, I think you can see the cables pretty well. This has a fun construction. It's cast on from the top here, and then there are these increase lines here and on the wrong side as well, but they are not showing up that great, I don't think. I don't know what to call this. There's a bit of a wedge here, and then the stitches meet at the top. That's a really long-winded way of describing that, I'm sorry. And then it's worked top down with the cable panel at the front, and then you have some brioche on the rim, and it's folded up. It's a really nice beanie. I might, if I can figure this out, I'm gonna insert some photos along this video here. But yeah, it's gonna come out September 1st. And it's knit with Linkulla spinneri jatkoilla. So this is 80% new fin sheep wool and 20% recycled wool from yarn scraps. So that's those tweedy nips in there. So yeah, this is gonna come out in September, so 10 days from now. I don't know when I'm gonna get this video out, if ever. Hopefully I will. So yeah, that's one thing. That's all the knitting I have for this time. If you don't want to listen to me blabber on about my reasons behind starting this podcast, thank you for listening this far. You can find me as Sannila_ on Instagram, and Sanni Pauliina or Sanni00 on Ravelry. I have the Ravelry group Sannila Designs if you want to join the test knits. And yeah, I hope to see you again, which might be more on me than on you, but I hope to do this again. It was lovely having you here. Now, if you are interested in my reasoning behind starting this, I got the idea this last spring when everything was going down with Meta. If you've been keeping up with that, I was never really that active on Facebook anyway, but I stopped posting on my business account, like Sannila Designs account there at that point. Instagram is where I have the most followers and most reach on, so I am doing that still. And I did really enjoy Instagram back in the day, but nowadays it's just really hard. It's a gamble. I don't understand it anymore. I used to, I don't anymore. And also I felt a bit limited by the content that I was making. So, in an effort to sort of spread my eggs out into more baskets, I thought I would give this YouTube thing a go. And also, I really enjoy knitting podcasts. I really like watching them. I'm a bit particular about what I watch, but once I find something that I enjoy, I like binge watch everything. I have knitting podcasts that I've watched several times over, like all the episodes. I watch them like a favorite TV series basically. And as you can maybe tell, I'm quite blabbery. So I thought YouTube and this longer form video content might be what I need and what I enjoy. I have so much to say about a lot of things related to knitting, both my own patterns and then just general knitting stuff. I really want to talk about sizing at some point, and maybe about the materials, the fibers, needles. I just have a lot to say about a lot of things, and I thought that this might be a place where people would be inclined to actually listen. Because let me tell you, it's not quite the same if I'm explaining these things to my family or someone who doesn't really care that much about all the knitting stuff. So yeah, I decided to give this a go, and I said I had this idea in spring, and it is the later half of August now. So I would say I'm a bit of a perfectionist, but I'm a lot of a perfectionist. And I would have liked to start with like crazy great equipment and cameras and lights and all that stuff, but then I thought that maybe if this doesn't work out at all, I don't really want to gather all that stuff just for it to flop, or for me to not like doing this or something. So I decided to kind of lower the bar for myself, and my phone camera is just fine. It is okay. I can do it. You can probably see just enough. And also, I don't know why I found talking to a camera so scary. I've been like procrastinating this for weeks now because it just felt scary to me. I don't know, I'm gonna have to figure out editing YouTube videos and posting them and everything, but yeah, I want to give this an honest go as well, because I think the Instagram community, social media community as such, has really changed in the last few years, and it's starting to feel pretty lonely there, honestly. It's really hard to get like true interactions there. And from what I've followed, YouTube is a lovely place as the knitting community on YouTube seems to be lovely and responsive and supportive. So yeah, I wanted to give this a try. I was also a little worried because I am really blabbery when I get going. I will see when I start editing this, like how badly I jump from one thing to another. But yeah, I was a little worried about if I could make anything enjoyable. I hope I have, and I hope I will do this again, and I hope you will return if if I do that. My loose plan or goal is to try and make these maybe once a month. I think that would be quite a nice pace, or maybe even every 2 to 3 weeks, depending on how I get on and how much I have to share. Because this was quite a lot, but this was like 2.5 months worth of knitting just to get us started off properly. Have I said everything that I wanted to say? Probably. I think so. It was really lovely having you here, and I hope to see you again. I hope to do this again, and I hope it was even half enjoyable. Please do comment down below if you have found your way over here, and if you have any tips or anything you would like to know. I didn't tell them much about myself yet. I might do that later on if you want to get to know me a bit better. But yeah, it was lovely having you. Happy knitting, and I'll see you again next time. Bye bye!